Hi, I'm Josh.
I'm Ollie, and today is the longest Jolly episode we've ever recorded.
Oh, well, I mean, recorded. We've recorded for like 4 or 5 hours for some episodes before.
Eating.
Mostly eating, yeah. I mean, some meals we had in Macau specifically.
Yeah. But there's a lot of silence when you're eating. There's it.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, a lot of burping as well.
Yeah, well,
hopefully not today.
And farting as well.
Okay.
And toilet breaks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Those can be a bit long.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great. We are 1 minute in to the longest Jolly ever, and we're already making toilet jokes. So today, we're going to be talking about a few things.
A few different things. There's a lot of business to wrap up. It's the end of the year.
It is. 2023, our biggest year ever. I love on YouTube where as long as you're just even slowly growing, you can say that every year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the best food we've had this year because we've eaten a lot of food.
We've got an update on Carrotland.
Oh, long awaited update on Carrotland.
And then lastly, I think we've got questions.
We have questions.
Yeah.
We've asked the internet for questions. I have collected on Instagram a ton of questions specifically for you.
I've collected questions for you.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be interesting. We ate a ton of different meals this year, and I feel like it would be good to go over, well, firstly, to pit them against each other. What was the best?
What was the worst?
What was the worst? I haven't prepared that. Maybe you have that one up your sleeve.
I don't know. I just felt like
I know. Actually, I know what the worst. The worst was when you pulled out a bloody McDonald's burger that had been sitting in your sleeve for 4 hours. 4 hours into a Jolly shoot.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Soggy, flipping Maccas.
However bad it was for you,
right.
I promise you it was worse for me.
I'd forgotten you had it up your sleeve as well, despite me and you talk about it for a few hours before.
The second
I
time.
had not forgotten. My soggy weenus was a constant reminder.
And you can see in your sleeve is like a lump.
If you go back.
You go
back.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he's got a gangrenous elbow.
Okay.
No, it's just McDonald's.
Yeah. All right, I have a list. I have a list of meals.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Starting with honorable mentions.
Wait.
Okay. Getting stopped
Are
before
any
I
of these cooked by me?
No.
Okay.
No. I had to narrow it down from the get-go. I mean, that was very self-flattering.
Yeah.
The best food we ate. Do you realise how many Michelin restaurants we ate in this year?
Yeah, but I cooked you an 18-hour brisket.
It was very good. It was very good. But I also had Texas barbecue for the first time in my life. Like real Texas barbecue this year. Your face.
Okay, all right. Hit me with the list.
All right, honourable mentions. Starting off, okay. I've got 5 honourable mentions. First up, Michelin star fish and chips.
Behind head.
Oh, mate.
Well, that's not in your top meals.
No. Yes, it's top 5.
Oh,
as in, it's top 7. I've given 5 honourable mentions.
It is a confusing list.
I couldn't narrow it down. I tried.
I didn't know when we hit the top
Just say top 7. Just say top 7.
I tried so hard. Okay, well, yeah, but then I also didn't really know how to order within there.
The spectacular 7.
Miscellaneous.
Okay. You know? So Heinz Head made it in there.
Yeah, Michelin star fish and chips. I mean, the crispiest fish in existence.
The batter was bubbled through with CO2 as it fried.
Ridiculous.
So it's got these nodules of perfectly prepared batter. The chips.
Perfect.
Incredible.
Perfect chips.
The perfect chip.
And then...
Can I say, sorry to interrupt you again,
please.
The episode in the Heinz Head is actually home to my favourite joke of the year.
Oh, off the bat.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Favorite moment of the year got cut by Luke.
Favorite moment of the year.
Well, favorite
didn't even make it into a video.
Yeah, Luke cut it. Luke cut
we
it.
Filmed it, but it was cut. Okay, okay.
Well, favorite joke. Really.
Luke's looking guilty.
Favorite joke.
Okay.
Luke was like, "It's not funny. Cut it."
Oh wow.
I was like, being known as the country around the world, whose national dish is fish and chips.
Yes.
Is kind of like being the kid who pissed himself on the school trip.
Okay. Okay.
No matter how many times you tell yourself it's funny, at the end of the day, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, and I said, but eating this right now,
yes,
I'm proud to finally say I pissed myself.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Very good.
And then,
Very good.
in and of itself isn't that funny, right?
Yeah, no, it was just solid.
But what made it super funny and the best joke of the year was about 20 minutes later.
I remember this.
Ducky from behind the camera tries the fish and chips. He eats it. He's clearly in ecstasy.
He has that look on his face where he's like,
this is, one of the best things you could possibly eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does he say? He says, I pissed myself.
Yeah. I pissed myself too.
I pissed myself too.
Good. So good.
But no, not good enough for Luke.
Yeah, well, it got cut. Second honourable mention goes to crawfish.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't say that food was necessarily the best, but the experience of that meal.
Yeah.
And I think I had relatively low expectations. I'm not a big seafood guy. Mm-hmm. And everyone had been beating it up so much. Oh, you have to try crawfish boil. You have to try things. So I was like, it's gonna disappoint. It's not gonna be as good. But it was really good.
It was very, very good. I think
really
also
good.
What was great about that meal is that crawfish season had only just begun. It was that week. And everyone kept saying, oh, you should do crawfish boil, but it's not going to be in season yet. It hasn't started. And then we went to the one restaurant we chose for Louisiana seafood. They were like, we got our first shipment of crawfish today.
That was epic.
Who is it?
Is that Ducky?
It's the duck.
Ducky, come in.
The smoothie.
Ducky, we were just talking about how...
do not knock that thing over.
We were just talking about when you confessed to pissing yourself in the hind's head.
Why?
Exposed.
Thank you, Ducky.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ducky.
you, mate. Curveball for number 3. Detroit style pizza.
Ooh.
In London, that was the best pizza I had this year.
It was very good.
Maybe the best pizza I've ever had in London. That was like top 5 pizzas of my life.
It was unexpectedly
Well, they were some big
fantastic.
statements.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
He's the king of big statements.
I'm serious. Very good pizza. And again, tiny little place in East London had no right to be that good. I'd never even heard of Detroit pizza before.
Wow. We're talking about the rights of restaurants right now.
No right. No right to be that good.
It's not like some fancy, super famous. I'd never even heard of this place before. And it just smashed out the water every
and the
pizza
food critics
have
have come along, they'll be like, excuse me, you're too good. You are not allowed to be that good. No right. No right. Who gave you the right?
Now that I've
Who gave you the right to be this good?
Okay. Well, now that I've bigged it up this much, people are probably going to be
went out there and took the right.
So, Next up, the Michelin Guide street food in Macau. Just incredible.
I mean, that's like 10 restaurants.
But it was just so damn good.
There was some misses in there.
It was, but it was as a meal, like it was kind of several meals together.
It was.
But we filmed it as one video, essentially as one long eating experience.
Okay, so you're counting that as one restaurant in your top 7.
I'd only need 2 of them. I just want the dim sum street stall.
Yeah.
And I want that little noodle place.
Noodle place was,
but the durian was probably the worst thing I've eaten this year. Durian ice cream was probably the worst thing I've eaten this year.
Wow.
Oh, that's actually what's the
straight up?
Yeah, easy. The worst thing I've eaten this year.
The last honorable mention was the first time ever having biscuits and gravy, which, can you believe? That was this year. Savannah flipping Georgia. Biscuits and gravy, our first time in the deep south of America, was this year. That was 2023. And we had our first ever American barbecue. We had our first ever Southern fried chicken. That meal was amazing as well. But the thing that stuck out to me the most from that trip was that warm embrace of biscuits and gravy for the first time.
Wow.
I craved that so much that day on.
It's crazy to think that pre-2023, we just thought biscuits came in a packet that you had with tea.
Yeah.
And this is the year that our eyes have been opened.
Lives have been changed.
I would say, biscuits and gravy was great. It was very, very good. Don't get me wrong, it was very good. But I think the biscuits and gravy we had in Louisiana
was even better.
Was better.
Yeah, I haven't even really considered that. I think it's just there's something about having it for the first time that was like, what? This food? Where has this been all my life?
Yeah. All right, I want to know what this is fun.
Best.
I want to know what the next one is.
There's only 2 left.
Huh.
So we're in the top 2 now.
Tied for first place.
Oh,
come on! We need a winner.
You want a winner? Okay, I can give.
He's
a winner.
like a Russian judge in the Olympics.
I want it to be nice. I want it. Look.
It's like the scoring mechanism doesn't make any sense.
I don't want to offend anyone. Okay. Fine. Second place. Second place technically actually wasn't even a meal that we filmed.
What?
But it was in a Jolly video, briefly, I believe. And that is the second time we went back to Chef Tam. You're shaking those tambourines.
I'm shaking my tambourine.
Shaking the tambourines. Chef Tam, voted the #1 chef in all of China, gave us this incredible, beautiful course meal.
Yeah.
But then invited us back for dinner with the crew that evening.
Yeah.
And he just cooked up this magnificent flipping feast, family style, which felt like more authentic. Piles of just the most glorious Chinese food you can ever imagine.
Absolutely incredible.
Unforgettable.
Absolutely incredible. And can I say, huge power move. #1 in China, but #2 on your list.
I wasn't gonna say it. I gave them joy first. Oh my god. He cooked a meal especially for us as well. And what was crazy about that second meal? Oh, okay.
Seriously,
what was crazy about that second meal was, he invited us back with all the crew, and then like came around. He had this wine sommelier, come round with Warren, and then just like give us the most incredible wine. And then he came over with like a big glass of wine and just stood by the table
holding his
while
glass.
We ate, holding his glass
in the coolest way.
Oh yeah, badass.
This is so cool.
If this was a wine glass, you just like hold it by the bottom like this.
Yeah. Actually,
I was like,
how's he going to do that? But you understand how
he just pinches the bottom of the glass and just holds it like this and it's like, takes the little sips.
You might actually, if you see later episodes of me and Josh with wine glasses, we both hold wine glasses.
Hell yeah.
Literally like,
the most badass way to hold a wine
like
glass
a toddler just watching their dad do something and they're just doing it. But it is so cool and it feels great.
I would be happy to be adopted by Chef Dan.
Wow.
Okay. Absolute legend.
Tamarines for life.
However, it wasn't my favorite meal of the year.
Here we go. All right. Here we go.
I think my favorite meal of the entire year.
Wait.
Okay.
We don't have any like
there's no sound effects or anything.
I just wanted to. Okay. Yeah. What is it?
It was Terry Black's in Texas.
Okay. Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was. No, you're right. It was.
I mean,
it was. Yeah.
Sorry, Chef Tam.
Real.
Sorry.
I'm
lowering the
I
tambourines.
am sorry.
Putting them back in the craft cupboard.
And and
I don't know. We just stuff everything in there.
Yeah.
All the kids' stuff.
Yeah. Mate. Just whenever you need to clean up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Actually, most of our drawers are like that.
Yeah. That's how you clean, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just real, like the most authentic Texas barbecue. We almost didn't go there, but we had a bunch of locals suggested to us before we went.
No. So can I say this? I'm going to say it.
Okay. Oh wow.
We originally were going to go to. I won't say what the restaurant is. We were going to go to another restaurant. I won't say it because we haven't been there, so we don't know whether this is true.
Yeah.
But we were going to go to another restaurant.
Yeah.
And we're going through the border checkpoint. And the guy was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're here. We're going to try some food, film some YouTube videos." And he was like, "Oh, cool. Where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, we're going to go to this restaurant." He goes, "That place is ass."
Wow. I don't remember that.
And I was like, "Whoa."
You're like an official of the government.
Yeah,
Can you say that?
Yeah. Is that a press release? Or... and then I was like, where should we go? And he's like, you got to go to Terry Black's.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, okay. Sure. So that's why we went. TSA told us to do it.
It was
It
epic.
really
Everything about that meal was kind of just perfect for what it was.
It was so memorable. We have the advantage of filming like a lot of the meals that we eat. And so it's kind of in your brain, right?
Yeah.
But then meals that aren't filmed, often they just kind of go into this like, well, for want of a better phrase, soup, memory soup.
Okay.
Definitely need a better word.
Yeah.
I said I wanted a better word.
That was a terrible word.
Yeah, I agree. You're preaching to the choir.
Why don't we call it a memory gumbo?
Memory gumbo, which is a soup.
Okay.
Okay, it's not better. Okay, fair enough. You're right. It goes into your memory gumbo, and then the thing about gumbo is you can't really differentiate the different ingredients, the different meals. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway, Terry Black's. I will never forget it. I'll never forget the environment. I'll never forget the first bite.
Oh,
it was so good.
Caveman rib.
Yeah.
Just like,
It was so juicy.
Everything was just perfect.
Yeah.
Every ingredient was like, that can't be better.
Yeah. It was amazing.
It was a life-changing moment.
It was.
And that feels so ridiculous to say, but
it really was.
I went to a place in London to have beef ribs with my friend.
Okay.
And we were eating them, and I'm like thinking, this is going to be like being in Terry Black's, and you're eating it and going,
It's just not the same.
So disappointing.
It's just not the same.
Yeah.
I know. And I've been like, literally since that day, the amount of times I've done a barbecue at home, and you're craving. I've got that Terry Black's beef rub and pork rub that I brought back. I'm like, I'm just trying to replicate, but you can't do it.
You can never quite get there.
No.
It's always just out of reach.
Exactly. Until we go back, we need to go back.
The unending murmur of self-reproach. That was in a book I read recently.
Great. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Very good. What a list, Josh.
Okay.
What a list.
That was very good list. Very good.
There is actually one more.
Okay.
Special award.
This list makes
Special
no sense.
award.
Okay, wait, no. I think we need to explain to you the concept of lists.
We had a top 7. We had to talk you into a top 7.
One of the top 7 is a group of restaurants that we visited one after another.
Which had one of the worst meals of my life in.
The special award, has to go for the most special meal that we had this year. Unrelated to food. The most special meal was a meal at Buckingham Palace. Yeah, come on. That needs its own award.
Well, yeah, maybe it does. Maybe the king could knight it. Yeah.
Okay.
Meal.
The whole meal. I mean, look, let's rewind a little bit. Obviously, we had a whole video about this, but just walking into the restaurant, obviously it's in the grand hall or whatever hall of Buckingham Palace.
It's the throne room, I believe.
The most
What?
It wasn't in the throne room.
I think so.
Oh my gosh. And so you walk in and like we got into the room, you're like checking your where you're sitting. Yeah. Realised very quickly we're all seated separately.
Yep.
Quite unnerving.
Blackpink start panicking.
Just like we did.
Yeah.
Then I realised I'm sat next to one of Blackpink. Yeah. I'm like, I'm simultaneously like really glad because it's someone I know of that I can talk to, as opposed to like a member of the royal family who I'd just be like, what are
the rules?
What are the rules? And then I needed to go to the loo. So I like went up to one of the stewards, really official looking guys, and I was like, I'm just going to pop to it. And he's like, oh no, the king's...
I'll just chop it off.
The king's coming. Wow.
That's what you're going with the swords,
He did not say that.
No.
That didn't happen. He was like, the king's coming in.
Yeah.
So you maybe you want to go after the king's speech or something. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's like a kid being told to wait at school.
Yeah, it was basically like, no, sit back
by
down.
the way, just to translate for our non-English viewers, when an English person says, maybe you shouldn't go, what they mean is, are you effing crazy?
No way. Yeah. Now is not the time.
Yeah.
So I had to just sit down and just wait for everything. And in the end, like, there was definitely not a good moment the entire meal. So no one got up.
Wow.
The entire meal.
Bladder must
Did you notice that?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I did.
And we drank a lot of wine as well.
A lot of very good wine.
The wine? Oh my gosh, the wine list. The red wine we had was made in the same year as me.
Whoa.
Yeah. 1989, the bottle.
Wow. Well, I mean, you were born in
Absolutely
May,
mad.
so technically you were made in 1987.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
It's basic biology.
Yeah.
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 Luke's regretting saying this is going to be unedited.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think those grapes were probably conceived at a similar time as I was.
No, you just made it weird.
I did.
Move on to the main course.
All right.
What did you have?
So
The first thing, it came out in this plate. It's perfectly kind of, you know, tiny and dainty,
200-year-old
and everything,
gold-lined plates.
And so you kind of thought that was
Absurd.
coming out. Then the main course comes out on a tray, a massive gold tray. They give
silver.
you
It was real, like heavy silver.
They give you a spatula and they're like, scrape it off onto your plate.
No, okay. That's
What is help yourself?
That's
Literally, they
exaggeration.
come over like this,
Okay.
and they're like, just scrape it, scrape it off. And I was like,
It was
Okay.
weird. It was super weird. So, okay, it wasn't a spatula. It was a very, very fancy serving spoon and serving fork.
spatula, like
Bit
implement.
like heavy silver
Spatula.
serving cutlery. And a heavily ornated, like, silver tray.
Yeah.
That had, like, decorations all around the edge, 2 massive handles, and 2 people come round, and one of them, and they one by one, stand over your shoulder like this, holding the tray at an angle.
Wait, do it to me.
And then, so they come over and at your shoulder, and they just hold this tray here.
Yeah.
And then, like...
And you're like, what do I do?
And there's, like, the spoon and fork there, and they, like...
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Serve
then
yourself.
your plate is here.
And you
go,
just take as much as you want.
Whoa.
You go like that. You're trying not to spill it. And then you're literally, it's all, I was towards the end.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
everyone served themselves, and they're not serving themselves like
No.
I mean, the serving utensils as well are very. It's not like chopsticks. It's a big spoon and fork, so you're just kind of shoveling it
Honestly.
onto your. And so everyone's just done this
and then so
plop, and so by the end, it's like all of the food is kind of mushed all together,
kind of like a tossed salad by the end.
yeah.
You know?
Except that it's like roast pheasant breast, and
Cranberry jus.
all of these different types of veg, roasted like. So he brought it over to me, and I'm like plop. But then because the spoon is like deep, right? So I like plopped it down, and then as I took it away, I realized there was like some food stuck to the. So like, as I put the spoon and fork down,
The world's fanciest trebuchet.
plonk.
No.
You dropped
Spilled like a decent amount of food on
I didn't know this.
Buckingham
Did you go
Palace
5-second rule?
carpet. I was in like flipping.
Would hate for it to go to waste.
I bet you it was clean. I bet you it was
organic.
clean.
Just suck it off the floor.
Just lick it off the tablecloth.
No, I didn't do that. I honestly was just like, just pretend like that didn't happen. Let's just pretend like that did. And I mean, the guy serving me definitely saw, but he didn't say anything, and no one else said anything. So I was like, I just there was just a patch that I just avoided until the end of the meal.
Okay.
For dessert,
Was it like sticky toffee pudding?
Pineapple.
no, hang on.
Pineapple?
Was that on the table, there's just fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The entire meal. So from the second you sit down, there's like whole pineapples.
Yeah.
And I thought they were decoration. There's also plates of apples.
Yeah.
Like
Real or fake?
No, real.
Did you try
I
one?
wasn't sure at first.
I ate an
Plates
apple.
of apples and plates of grapes, and they look like they're there for decoration because they're there before before any of the food comes out, before you sit down.
Yeah.
But after the dessert, they take all the fruit away, and then they bring it out like one by one, and like the rest of the food, they serve it to you. Oh, also the pineapple. It turns out they brought the pineapple round whole, and lifted the lid off, and inside the pineapple they had slices of pineapple carved out. So like. It looked like just little pineapple rings.
Oh, so you could take it
I
out.
took out a slice with a fork, and they were just all pre-cut in there.
Wow.
Genius.
Beautiful.
Rose was
Yes.
loving the pineapple.
Ah, great.
Yeah,
It was
she
great
had
fun.
at least 2 slices. That's all I'm sharing.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, next up,
All right.
we have Carrotland update.
Wow.
it's always difficult to know how much context to provide for this. Because obviously the people who want an update, you would assume
they know
are
the
already
context.
in on it.
Yeah.
And then the more you kind of explain, the more insane it sounds.
Well, not just sounds, is.
But I will give my best speed run. Okay. So
very good.
when did we go to Carrotland first? It was 2016, I think. Well, no, 2015. No, 2017. 2017.
Okay.
We were on holiday in
Restart
New Zealand.
the speed run. I'm going to speed run this.
Got it, you guys. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. 2017. Speedrun beginning now.
Okay. For the first time.
We were on holiday in New Zealand. We're
Yes.
driving down to the Tongariro crossing.
Yes.
And we passed through a town, an unassuming town called Oakune in New Zealand. And as we pull into the town, we see what can only be described as the most magnificent sight.
The biggest carrot in the world.
Standing at over 8 meters tall,
Wow.
this orange colossus
Okay.
greets you at the entrance to what was then called Oakune Carrot Adventure Park.
Yeah.
And I obviously absolutely lost my mind, okay? Because I'm in a car with someone whose name is Josh Carrot, and there's literally a carrot-themed statue park. So I was like, Josh, we got to film an episode, right?
We filmed an episode. I think we can cut this short. This story short.
In my speed run.
And so begins the biggest in-joke ever.
Exactly. So we filmed an episode, probably the greatest episode we've ever recorded.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
Definitely not.
Yes, not views-wise. Not. And then year after year, I have filmed some kind of episode to mark the occasion on the anniversary of said episode, which also happens to be kind of around your birthday. So we had Carrotland, a celebration. We had carrot-themed gifts. And then this all came to a head in 2021 for your birthday, where I secretly ghostwrote and published your autobiography.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Carrotland, my YouTube autobiography, which I definitely wrote all of, by Josh Carrot.
Yes.
This went on to become a global bestseller. We sold over 15,000 copies.
Yeah.
And so...
the episode that we all were happy to forget is now burnt into our jolly lore. A crucial part of the context behind...
branded.
Why Carrotland? I mean, it wasn't even called Carrotland. We called it Carrotland.
It's a painful and permanent process. Now, part of this episode, I had arranged with Dave Scott, the co-founder of Carrotland, to give him the proceeds of the sale of the book. And he would build a statue in our honor in Carrotland. This
is as absurd as it sounds. But it actually happened.
It actually happened. And the initial design, which I really wanted,
Yeah.
I wanted a Game of Thrones throne made of carrots
Wow.
that you could go and sit on.
Okay.
But I don't think Dave had seen Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So the idea of a rocket came up. At one point, they were building it like way over in another town, like 30 miles away. And they were like, we don't have a truck big enough to move it. And I think they had to like chop the top part off and then reassemble it.
Things escalated.
It was insane. And it was all coming towards a head to go out to Carrotland in April 1st.
To go and unveil the rocket was in place. That rocket there.
Oh, here
That's a little model that they sent us. Which I might even be to scale. But it's
amazingly
was,
accurate.
It was a lot bigger. Obviously, it's not a not a model for ants.
No,
it's
maybe it is. Ants, if you're watching.
Okay. It's huge in real life. It's absolutely.
It's over 5 meters.
Shockingly huge.
We didn't want to upstage the biggest carrot in the world because it's literally their selling point.
Okay.
But 5 meters.
No.
It's respectable.
Maybe they have the second biggest carrot in the world well as
number 1 and 2.
Okay.
Now, this is where the story becomes more complicated.
Yeah. More complicated.
I know that's hard to believe. Bear with me. So, it actually almost exactly this time last year, I was bending over to pick up a piece of wood.
Wow. 1 year
and
ago. Yeah.
My back gave way. And it was unbelievably painful. And, I was like, it hurts.
Oh dear.
But I actually went skiing like a week after it happened in Lake Tahoe.
That was before that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the time you were like, you took you out for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'll probably be all right.
It hurts, but I'll probably get better.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just didn't get better. And then this coincided with us doing like quite a lot of traveling. We went to France. We went to Korea with Buvner. We went to Texas.
Then you went back to Korea, right? The plan was you were going to go to Korea, and then on to New Zealand because you were basically on that side of the world.
We went back to Korea with our Max.
That was it. It was a lot of long haul flights, and that
wasn't the best thing for your back.
Surprisingly, it wasn't. My back with each trip, my back got worse.
Yeah.
And also in my head, I was like, it's not getting better, but it has to get better. And halfway through the R-Max series, I basically for want of a better word, I don't know whether Luke's got a good suggestion.
Okay.
I kind of imploded, didn't I?
Snapped. Your back snapped.
Yeah. I kind of was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And which I got to go home.
Was physically, I think, true. And then mentally, the kind of your mental followed the physical, right?
Yeah.
A key detail here is we had planned after our Max we basically had a really tight schedule. So we planned to fly to New Zealand, arrive in Auckland, immediately drive 5 hours down to where this thing was. Okune, where the Carrotland is. Do the unveiling of the rocket, have this massive meet and greet with all the fans who want to come there and meet us, which is going to be really fun, and then stay one night, then that night maybe drive 5 hours back, and then fly another 12 hours back to Korea before then flying on somewhere else to go on holiday. And so we were basically had to sit down and be like, I don't think Ollie, the mastermind behind all of this Carrotland lore and adventures on Jolly, I don't think you can come to see the unveiling of the rocket, which was hard. It was a really hard decision to make.
It was really, really hard. It was I know this, it's kind of, there's a silliness to all this, but for me personally, that I felt like I was letting you down, and I felt like I was letting Dave and all the guys in Carrotland down, and all of the Jollybeans that were going over there. But it was definitely the right decision for me, and you and Adam and the rest of the team was so good, and it was almost like an intervention. You guys sat down with me and you were like, you can't, you
stop working.
you need to go home. You need to go and get some proper rehab for your back.
Yeah.
And thankfully that's why we were able to kind of keep going this year.
Keep going.
It's because we did just essentially pull the handbrake. And I was off work. I was actually fully off work for 3 months.
Which is mad, yeah.
And you guys probably didn't even know.
We kept uploading, yeah.
Anyway, Josh, enough of the
But Josh made it to New Zealand.
Story.
That's how that happened.
The happy story is you frickin' went to New Zealand. And
that is the context behind how in 2023, this year, I found myself, after filming the R-Max series, on a plane to New Zealand with Ducky.
Yeah,
one of our team who was there helping.
It's amazing he wasn't flying alongside the plane. Flying south for the winter.
Flying south for the winter. Okay. Anyway, so absolutely insane. We arrive in Oakune, this little town, and we meet Dave Scott.
Yeah.
He greets us there and he's like, oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I've got all this stuff lined up. He had this whole event planned. So he takes us first to like his mate's house.
Okay.
For the morning. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Turns out this mate has a tractor that he's given us to use for the Carrotland rocket unveiling. At this point, I think Andy had come out with like somehow managed to find an orange astronaut suit.
Okay.
And like a NASA astronaut suit. I wore the orange one. He wore the NASA one. Super random.
Sense.
I was like, okay, what is going on? Let's, roll with it. Sounds good. They put me in the tractor. I was like, well, I don't know. I'm not driving this right now. Okay. Thankfully, someone came along to drive it. I was like, okay. So I just sat on this little like stool, like perch next to the driver. And I'm just sat there in this orange zip up, like full outfit. And we start driving from this guy's farm, I guess, into the town, like down the main road. And as we're driving into Okune, the road is lined with cars. And the guy who's like driving the tractor is like, oh, it's really busy. There's a lot of people. And I don't think they actually were expecting many people to turn up. But we like rock up at this event in this tractor. You see the giant carrot coming from like the distance. I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is. There's Carrotland.
Finally home.
And there's like, I don't know, 300-400 people.
That's crazy.
A lot of people there.
Wow. Must have been full. Carrotland must have been full.
It was Ramo. Yeah. It was packed. They had this giant truck that they turned into a stage, speakers. They had like food trucks. There is this big event.
Wait, so how many people were there total? Like,
I don't know. A lot.
With Jollybeans and everything.
Yeah. A lot. Hundreds.
I couldn't believe it because literally we were back in the office and I reckon, I won't name names, but I will say the highest we had was about 25 people who had specifically travelled to be there that day. Yeah, we thought there might be other people who just ended up there, something's going on.
There was a lot.
There wasn't one guess above 25 people who had specifically travelled to be there. So when you sent the pictures through, we were like,
it was mad.
No
it was absolutely mad. Most of them were from New Zealand, but people had flown from all over.
That's insane.
But some people flew from Europe.
Wow.
From Europe?
There was a few people that had flown from Asia, different places in Asia.
Wow.
But yeah, it was like, it was next level.
Wow, it's not making me feel any better.
And we did this event, did the unveiling, and then people like just crowded around really politely and were like, just waited to chat. And so then me and then Andy and Ducky started like saying hi and like taking pictures of people as well because the people recognized them. And I literally just stood there and did like a meet and greet for like 5 hours.
Wow.
It was like just I got a chance to talk to everyone who came.
That's cool.
That is so cool, man.
They gave like gifts that I brought back. They gave me like some snacks and stuff that I like that night as I was driving back to Auckland. I was like eating in the car.
You gave me a lot of cards actually.
Yeah,
I got like a lot of like get well soon cards and stuff. It was really sweet.
Like handmade gifts that people had brought for us.
I must say, it makes me feel so kind of grateful for you guys watching, and it's
amazing. The community we have was it was very like, also just everyone was so encouraging and so supportive, and like no one was like, where's Ollie? Like I explained. No one was angry about it. Okay. No one was angry about it.
They almost didn't care.
No. I mean, one guy showed up literally with your face on his flipping t-shirt, like printed on. So there were people who definitely they missed you, but what I explained that you couldn't make it, and you were sad not to be there, and like everyone was so understanding, and everyone was so supportive and really sweet, and like gave me personal encouragement as well. It was just really, really like emotionally overwhelming time. And I remember like coming back from that, like going to the hotel and just lying down on the bed with Andy and Ducky and being like, wow, but that's very rarely do you get to have an experience like that in life, and it was just it was overwhelming, very moving.
Well, I'm so glad that one of us got to do it, and you got to be there in my place.
We'll have to go back one day.
We're gonna have to go back
one day, because you do need to see it with your own eyes. It's a sight to behold.
Well, that's a neat segue actually into your new book.
Yes.
Space Carrots.
There's more. That's not the end of the story.
Which actually begins with the unveiling. Space Carrots available now on Amazon. Okay. So we posted to Instagram.
Wow.
I asked specifically for questions about to be directed to Josh.
Yes.
I believe you asked the same.
I did.
To be directed to me.
For you, yeah.
I must say, varying quality of question, which is reflected in my selection, hopefully.
Okay.
Some are insightful, others are less insightful.
Okay.
The first is from Raileigh RV.
Okay.
Any episode you regret recording?
Carrotland. I mean, if you go back and watch that video, if you go back and watch that video, I think I was actually the one that was most excited.
Yeah.
That's true.
About
No, you're right.
Carrotland.
You're absolutely right.
And then when we came home and I realized, we're actually going to upload that. It wasn't just like an in-joke.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe this is a bad idea. And I had no idea how bad of an idea.
All right.
Our last one. Yes or no question. Is it weird that your face is the image of the channel?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you want to elaborate?
But try fitting Jolly into a circle.
True. I feel like that expression you have as well is a good embodiment.
Honestly, that's
what
an
Jolly
interesting
is.
question, because I think about that. I think
Yeah.
about branding all the time in various different ways. It's like my Roman Empire. But
That was another question that people asked. So there you go. Fantastic.
as you know, in fairness,
Two
Roman
for one.
Empire is probably my Roman
Oh,
Empire, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
But I always come back to being like, how can we fit Jolly into it? Maybe you Jollybeans have got some ideas, but I'm always like,
If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments.
just keep it as it is.
From my memory, it was like a temporary thing when we were setting up.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
definitely.
setting up the channel, and we're like, it's kind of funny, and then we just went with it.
It just never changed.
Yeah. Are you planning on doing this till you're old and wrinkly?
Oh, no, I got that question for you as well.
When are you getting old and wrinkly?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like we're there already.
Yeah, I'm definitely quite wrinkly.
Yeah.
Some parts of my body less than others.
Pre or post bath?
Yeah.
Ollie sometimes sends me
Pre
voice.
or post bath?
I sometimes get voice notes from Ollie from the bath.
Oh yeah,
How often are you taking baths?
it's where I come up with my best ideas. That's why I never call you, because they're normally surprises that I can give you.
I see.
I get these voice notes. I'm like, the audio sounds super weird. And my first
Yeah.
message whilst listening is, are you in the bath?
Yeah. So much so that often
That's
when I
odd.
voice note Luke, I'll be like, by the way, I'm not in the bath.
It just sounds like I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Are you planning on doing this till you're old and wrinkly?
Yeah, I guess. Don't have any other plans.
Would you still love Ollie if he was a worm?
So many people ask that question. Why would they ask that
Illustration.
question?
I got that question like 4 times. So strange.
meme
I mean,
It's a meme.
Whenever
It's a
Esther-
meme.
Is it a meme?
It's a meme. It's like, I think it was somebody tweeted,
That makes a
it's
lot more sense.
kind of question you
Makes a
ask
lot
your
more
boyfriend or girlfriend
Oh yeah.
so that they don't, you're basically asking, do you just love me for my physical appearance?
I definitely wouldn't love you if you were a worm. Because you wouldn't be.
Well,
You wouldn't
actually,
be you.
Literally
you know-
zero
a worm.
hesitation.
You'd be a worm.
no,
This
but
is why I
you know,
said to Gabby or Aunt Esther when they asked me.
yeah, but I can talk. I have all of the same.
That is
I can-
not part of the small print.
No, well, I'm asking the question. I can talk. I'm exactly the same person, but I'm a worm. Would you still be my friend?
Probably not. I mean, you're a worm.
So what?
Still a worm.
Okay, so what you're saying is
You're
my
you're
physical,
just a freak of nature worm.
my physical appearance is important to
Are you
you
a full
in
size-
the relationship.
Your
How
essence
big a
as
worm are you?
human,
Full-size worm.
your essence as a human. Well, that would be worse. Your essence as a human being is essential to our relationship.
Really?
Definitely. Yeah.
Really?
Definitely. I mean, if you were maybe like a puppy or something that could talk, it might be easier, but a worm would be very hard because I mean, you eventually you're just gonna die. How long do they live for? Like a
few
week?
days.
Yeah,
A few days. It's not a big commitment. It's what I'm asking for. And you're like, nope, you live for a week and I will not be your friend. I got stuff to do, man. I got stuff to do. I will hook you onto a thing and fish with you.
Last one to end on.
Okay.
Is the celebration of Carrotland an everlasting thing, and should it be a national holiday?
I think I can speak for everyone, the entire planet,
Okay.
when I say yes.
To both questions.
To both
everlasting national holiday.
Yeah. In 10,000 years' time,
Wow.
I want us to be celebrating. Well, to be honest, it'd probably be AI celebrating Carrotland.
Happy New Year, everyone, and I hope you had a good 2023.
We're going to be taking January off, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is the last episode of the year.
Sounds crazy to say,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think so.
We're taking January off.
Wow.
To make sure that neither of us burn out again.
Have a good break. Yeah, there was definitely moments this year. We're going to take a good break and come back bigger and better
February.
next year. See you in 2024.
See you later, guys.
There we go.
Anyway, we're good. I think we're good. That was the most random episode we've ever filmed.